Good morning, everybody. It's Michael here with your weekly supply and demand market report. I hope you're all well and that you've had a great trading week. As usual, we're going to look at the markets, the major markets that are representative of the overall markets, and go through the price action and see what the markets are offering right now. So, Thank you again to all of you who have been in touch with me, who've been sending in your comments, questions, and those of you who've been coming on board to the roundtable, the one-to-one training. It's been again quite humbling to get some of the feedback that you've given about the content on the channel and the support you've experienced on the thread. So I do appreciate all of you, and let's keep it going. So let's get into the charts now. Please remember that these are just my thoughts, okay? These are not trading ideas for anybody to jump on. These are just the way that I see the markets. So we'll start with the usual suspects. The dollar here, when we met last time, we were talking about the dollar being at this level of supply, and we are still holding that area of demand. So it's caught between these two levels, and you can see on the weekly, the level we talked about has caused a move down. We've taken out a little bit of demand, quite poorly formed there, and we're back up into an area of supply again. So it's going to be interesting to see how the dollar reacts, with the dollar being where it is now. And when we go to the euro, you'll see that the euro is also back into an area of demand, with the dollar in supply. So this week is going to be quite interesting to see how these two markets play out. The euro clearly is still in a downtrend. We're removing some supply though, so it will be interesting to see if we can start getting a push up in the euro, which I suppose not many people will be expecting, given the strong downtrend. And it still has a lot of work to do. There's no doubt about that. It's still quite heavily down, but we'll see if we can start getting some traction. The level we were hoping to get to, which is the one down here, is still yet to be arrived at. So I thought I'd show this two charts like this. If you like it, let me know. If you think it's just better to have the one chart opened up, just give me some feedback about it. But I thought it'd be useful for the multiple time frame analysis point of view for you to see both charts together, so you can understand the location of where price is. And looking at the Aussie on the weekly, so the Aussie is still stuck in this range. The trend is still generally also overall down. We have some momentum to the upside, but we've had prices making lower lows, as you can see there, and then a higher high. So it's quite a confused picture. For short-term income trading though, we did have prices reach a level of supply. They haven't reached a level of demand, and they've reacted off of that, coming down. So going into next week, given where we are, if we get a push down, traders who are looking for short-term income may want to start looking into this area to see if they can get some short-term bounces to jump on smaller time frames. Bear in mind, the move down has caused the trend of this market to no longer be up clearly. But the question is, do we want to be looking for trades in the direction of the trend, or just play the levels? Trading in the direction of the trend has a higher probability, but definitely the uptrend here is not what we're playing, because that uptrend has ended with the removal of the break of that momentum line and the removal of a demand level. So trading as prices come down into this level looking for bounces will be bounce trades. There will be bounce trades. We might actually get new supply formed up in here, so look out for that. And looking at the pound has come into supply and is just hanging around here. It's not getting that big push down that we would expect, which is a tell for the potential strength in the pound right now. Obviously, we know we have the United Kingdom elections coming up in December, so this market is likely to be holding its breath and waiting to see what the outcome of that is, if we get a hung parliament or not, if one party or the other gets a majority. So the debates are going on. So it's not a market that's been providing a ton of opportunities for anyone trading trend necessarily, but it's one to watch for sure. Now, the New Zealand is also a mess, at least for longer term income trading. There's really nothing happening here right now. In terms of the shorter term income trading, we're still going through this area I fondly refer to as gobbledygook area, because there's really not that much in terms of quality into this area. We've taken out the last peak that produced a new low, but we haven't really gone anywhere for several days. We've been caught in this box here. So again, nothing much to do in the New Zealand. It's still overall down, but it looks like the market is trying to hold, and the selling is now being equaled by as much buying. This area interests me though, because it's suggesting that whatever selling is happening is not being allowed to carry prices out of this box. If we do break out and we go lower, it will be one to watch. This often suggests though that there might be, the more likely scenario is that we try and go higher. So keep an eye on the basing that's going on here. And for Bitcoin, it's been a difficult week. The levels we talked about have worked out pretty well. If you haven't seen the videos, please go and watch them. The videos must be, I don't know, maybe a month old now, something like that. And the levels have been brilliant. So Bitcoin has produced, if we're looking at the bigger picture, the next potential stopping point for Bitcoin is down in there. And if we're looking to join the trend, we have levels galore. Levels galore. In fact, this one you could just join both levels up there to include that. So we have levels galore in Bitcoin, and it's not looking good right now. If you look at the monthly, you'll see we've also hit a monthly supply zone. So monthly was in supply, weekly went into supply, daily went into supply. We often refer to that kind of trade as a whale trade on the round table, and looks like we got what we expected. That's good. So those are the levels for Bitcoin going forward. So let's move on to the S&P, and this market just keeps on going. The tweets keep on coming out, and we keep on rising. So we're currently sitting there. So that will be the level to watch to see if there's any weakness coming into the market. And by weakness, I don't necessarily mean selling to go short. A lot of people who've made quite a lot of money in this sort of move up will be looking to make profits to take their profits at some point. So that may cause a bit of a drift downwards. But unless we see really aggressive selling coming into the market, it may just be people taking their profits into year end and getting ready for the new year. So please be mindful of that. And for the Russell 2000, mostly monitoring US-based companies, smaller cap companies, we are still sitting in the range we've been talking about. It's not in the ideal place to be initiating a long. If you're anticipating that it's going to break out, then I would just suggest probably best to wait for that event to happen and then look to buy any pullbacks to demand that may form, rather than anticipating it and buying it into supply. That is something that we do not do. We never buy into supply. Okay, so those are the levels we've got. That's the supply that's still above us. We've got a big old demand zone down here. So we're still caught in this sideways range. And you can see up into, on the shorter term income levels, we've still got that one in control up there. It's pulled away enough for a nice decent profit. it's just not falling as hard as you would expect right now. When you look at this, just so a little tidbit for everyone, if you see the first moves into this supply zone, didn't hang around, wick into that level, fell, went back up, didn't hang around very much either, wick into that level, fell. Notice the distance fall. That's not even English. Notice the distance it fell, right? It didn't get as far down as this one. And what did it do? It went further than this previous high. But now it's hanging up in there. It's hanging around there. It's not falling down as quickly. So just watch that. It suggests, with all the other markets going up, they're probably trying to pull their weaker sister, the Russell, higher. So just be mindful of that. If we're going to short it, we want to see much more heavy selling than we have seen so far. All right, looking at the bond market using the 10-year notes, we have demand in there. Let's just come shy of it. We're dealing with a bit of supply, which is why we haven't seen it rise too quickly. Now we're caught between demand here and supply there. Given that this market has gone pretty sideways, it's very uncertain right now which way it'll go. The trading hasn't been as clear cut as we would like, but overall favoring the upside will probably be the more appropriate play, I suppose, because we still haven't managed. We've had the selling, but we still haven't managed to carry this thing lower, start breaking demand zones. So it may be the demand in here. We have two levels. There's a level down in here as well that will carry this market higher, but we'll have to see more than what information we have right now. And the US dollar Canadian, again, not really doing anything, caught in a sideways range in here. Not much activity. So if we're trading the ranges, looking at it on the smaller time frames, we've been caught between that range up there and all of this down here. So big enough levels, far away from each other, enough distance for us to trade ping pong, if you like. But still waiting on it. I haven't taken any trades in this market for a while because of the lack of clear movement. But some of the guys definitely have been trading it quite well, to be fair. We had, I don't know if you recall, but we had this level in here that we were watching. It produced a decent enough move. A few trades were taken off there, but that's since changed. We've now got another level in here that was just missed. It's still a bit lower down enough in the range for us to consider it, and ultimately coming down in here. If we continue the ping pong, then we'll be watching those levels. Okay, the US dollar Japanese, it's trying to push up, trying to hold. We have upside momentum established. We are dealing with sellers in here, and we have that level being the one preventing a rise right now in the markets. But we are showing strength for sure in the US dollar versus the Japanese. It's at a critical juncture now. If it's going to move up and break this level and go higher, it has to do it now. If it starts falling again, we're likely to start getting trading below the momentum and losing that upside momentum we have. It'll be hard to see how it would change trend though, but obviously we'll have to wait for more information as the market plays out. So again, nothing immediately jumping out at me for a trade in this one. And the US dollar Singapore, for those of you who trade it, we are still generally up. We have come into a demand zone and we are beginning to show some traction. We have very poor quality supply above. In fact, it's not one that I would worry too much about. And we can see the changes happening here on the smaller time frames with the ending of the downside momentum, and the daily is beginning to try to turn back up. So this is one to watch if you wanted to go long. There will be opportunities in this market. You still have supply up there, but watching for any pullbacks to this area may be an idea to that I will be looking to see if we can get a trade off of. And looking at Brent, still a mess. Lots of volatility, back and forth movements. Supply is still there. The demand levels are still there. So we are caught in between and in betwixt. On the shorter term income side, we've come up into the supply. So we've started to see a little bit of selling. We've seen the buying from down there. So it'll be interesting to see now. Will we get, how much movement down will we get here? It's quite a big range, as you can see there. All of this, it's quite a big range to be trading in. So just be careful with that. The volatility has been quite significant with this one. Okay, but definitely if someone put a gun to your head and insisted you take a trade, I would be looking for opportunities to go short. But that's just me. So silver has had its pull down a few weeks ago, and it's held around that level now for 3 weeks. Not much happening with it. We have the demand zone down there. We've now got a little bit of supply up in here, so we'll see how this plays out. That's just because of the size of the move away. So we'll have to continue watching that one. Now, basing up here doesn't really bode too well for this level. If we do get a push down, we're immediately going to have opposition sitting right above. So again, be mindful of that. All right, nothing pretty interesting on the shorter term income side. We have supply there. We have a little bit of demand. I'm going to widen this zone. A little bit of demand there as well. So which will tie up with this level. All right. So that's silver, and the last one will be gold. So gold has been it's not as badly hit as silver. We still haven't hit the demand zone that we're waiting for. We were talking about this level here, which did work out for a little bounce trade. We still have supply up there. It hasn't hit the supply, and the weakness seems to be coming in. So we really need, if we're going to get a push to the upside, we really need the markets to take out this supply zone. It's tried it so far. It's not been able to do it yet, but obviously there's loads of time to go. All right, so I hope you're all preparing for Christmas and getting your presents in. And thank you for watching the videos, for giving it a thumbs up if you like it, and letting those algos pick it up and a lot more eyes seeing it. And thank you for bigging up the channel and telling your friends about it, and also the thread. Also, just an update on the website. The work is in progress. We're beginning the process to start embedding videos into the channel and onto the website going into the next few weeks. So we're looking forward to a launch in the new year. So thank you all for your support and for continuing to share your ideas. And for those of you who are interested in joining us on the roundtable or coming on the one-to-one training, or if you wanted the video course, you know where to find me. Just email me at storehouseanalytics@gmail.com. I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care, everybody. Trade well, trade safe.